How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out another one here from Hobbymaster, of course, in 1/72nd scale diecast. Yep, we've got ourselves a MiG-29 Fulcrum here, of course. It is a MiG-29 from the Slovak Air Force. Now, our model here is of the aircraft from their first Letka, or first squadron. It was built in 1994 and delivered to the first squadron in January of 1995. In 2002, it was painted in this special Tiger livery for the Slovakian 5th International Air Show, performing display flights on the 8th and 9th of June of 2002. Now, on November 6th of 2002, this aircraft was involved in a mid-air collision with another MiG-29, unfortunately, resulting in the destruction of both aircraft and sadly killing one pilot. Now, with that unfortunate end, how about we lighten the mood by opening this up and having a little look at it before we take this aircraft out of the box. Now, it does look fantastic. Well, check at that. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Now, it does have the usual information in the flap, as these Hobbymaster ones do, and all of that goodness sitting in that box, waiting for our hands to get all over it. All right, let us get this thing open and check out this awesome-looking MiG. Already with the MiG out of the box, it does come with the usual stand, and that is what it looks like. The shaft is metal and the base is plastic, but that's your stand. It also does come with the little baggie that does have the ordnance fuel tanks. You do get a couple of spare little lights for the landing gear if you break them off, and you get a couple of little antennas as well, which is always really nice. All right, let us get this open. All right. Now, I bought this brand new, so this is brand spanking new. So hopefully it's still available. If you like one, you should be able to find one online somewhere, because that's what I did. I grabbed this online. So it does have the usual deal in this for all the landing gear options, and this beautiful looking jet in there. Let's see. Oh, it comes out very nicely, which is fantastic. All right. They're not overly heavy, but that's no big deal, but what we want to make sure is it looks absolutely nice, which it really does. Wow, check out that livery. That looks absolutely insane. Wow. Let us zoom right in and have a little close look at that paintwork. Man, that is cool. Check out that. The panel lines and everything on this are, well, Hobbymaster panel lines. You can see them. But the paintwork is really nice. The markings are really, really fantastic. I really like that effect, the white tiger. That looks amazing. You do get a little bit of engine detail in there, of course. These are plastic. The rest of the wings are metal. So that these might be a little bit easier to break off, so you always got to be a little bit careful when handling this. Now underneath, so all our points for our armament, of course, and the landing gear options. There is a little bit of detail in there in the intake. It's really hard to see, but there is a little bit in there. Can we take that off? We can, and there is some great detail in there. Let us swap it around and put some light on there. But that looks awesome. Yep, very, very nice. We'll try not to drop too much. I reckon this is going to set up very well, so how about we do that? All right, we'll kit this out and we'll come right back. All right, here we have it set up for in-flight. Very straightforward, as per usual. You've got your 3 gear bay doors. The only thing is that you pray to the diecast gods is that they go in nicely and sit flush, which today, these have sat pretty flush. Sometimes I do have some issue with the MiG-29 in-flight landing gear. You put your tank in, as per usual, and then your loadout on either side. They all went in beautifully. No trouble whatsoever. No hassles. Nothing untoward. And you put that little antenna on the back there, if it'll focus. And I put a little pilot in there. Yay! I don't normally do the pilot sort of thing, but I thought I'd chuck one in there just to show you. They do squeeze in there nice and easy. There was no hassle with putting them in. And this is your awesome looking MiG set up for in-flight, well, with a pilot too, so make your airplane noises and enjoy the view. Now, this is a view to enjoy. I reckon they do look very nice, but the only problem is, yeah, you can't put it on a stand and have this tank on, so you've got to take it off so you get access to that big old slit in there, where you can stick your stand in, and that is a job done in regards for that. That is your beautiful MiG set up on the stand, and boy, I reckon this does look fantastic. That livery is really nice. Reminds me of like Siegfried and Roy, one of their white tigers. But I reckon this thing does look pretty awesome. So hopefully you do agree with me. But what we got to do, we got to set this thing up with some landing gear and put this in gear down and chuck it on the scales as well. So we will go off and do that right now. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. All right, here is your beautiful MiG-29 setup for gear down. It's very straightforward. You can put your tank back on. You just got to put these gear bay doors in, which are quite a little bit tricky as per usual. You've got to be careful when handling this so you don't snap those little lights off. As you can see there, they're the ones you get the spares of, because you have to push it in from the side. So I usually take that missile off so you can get access to the side, put it on, then put your missile back on. And then there's a little gear bay door, and you push your wheels in. They are metal, so you can put a little bit of pressure on them where they feel like metal. And then the nose wheel is just that module you just drop straight in. You do also get like a little block-off plug if you want to just have that tank removed and just cover the stand hole with that little plug. And that is beautifully done. It does look absolutely awesome. Very straightforward, no real hassle. And you can put your open canopy on there so you can display it with the canopy open so you can check out the inside when you have it on display. And I reckon it does look freaking awesome. Hopefully you do agree. And well, how about we chuck it on the scales? What do you reckon? We'll move these scales in and we will put our MiG down and see what we get. All right, so we have 229 grams. But that's without the pilot. That is the pilot out of the aircraft. It is the generic pilot, and the pilot does weigh nothing. But, oh, there you go. He's tipped it over to 230. But, yeah, that is your sweet-looking MiG, and I reckon it does look fantastic. Hopefully you do think the same way. And don't forget, if you do, to throw some of those my way if you're that way inclined. And always feel free to drop a comment below as well. And I definitely think this is a sweet-looking MiG-29, of course. And I like this Tiger livery. It looks fantastic. I just can't stop playing with it, really. But I will, of course, take photos of this, throw them on at the end of the video, and you can see this beast without these grubby little fingers all over it. Don't forget, if you have yet to subscribe to the channel, feel free to subscribe to be kept up to date for more videos we do occasionally put out. I'll wind up, of course, by saying thank you so much for spending your time once again in watching one of my videos. I really do appreciate everyone that does drop past. I hope it was helpful in some sort of way. All right, thank you so much for watching. You all have a fantastic rest of your day. Cheers, everyone.